This is Gekko, a Radivore wielder and a right and true summoner if we're talking in terms of RPGs. He is the 5th Initiator added, and the 22nd agent following Harbor but preceding Deadlock. Aesthetic-wise, he has a very, let's say, colorful green, brown, purple, and black outfit and setup, and a lot of his stickers and stuff are themed after a lot of his buddies too, so adding blue, yellow, and even pinkish tones. It's very disorienting in my opinion, but it does work. It's just a lot in my opinion. That's really all it is. Personality-wise, he is incredibly upbeat. I find him a very positive and incredibly wholesome addition. I do really enjoy his presence. I also just love his voice lines between him and his little buddies. Again, he's very good on both sides. He is excellent at stalling in my opinion, but he is also phenomenal on pushing onto sites with your duelist or with other initiators, or even like if you have a good Sage Wall lineup. And not to mention the strength that is his wingman, but we'll get to that in a minute. For his abilities, let's start with his E. That is what my friend here is actually holding, his Dizzy. Dizzy is essentially a creature that can blind, so if I throw... Dizzy takes 2 seconds to find, can bounce off walls as you saw me bounce off this pillar, and can detect up to 45 meters. So if we go over here, notice my friend's still blinded from Market. The blind is applied for 2 seconds, but starts fading away halfway through. So if my friend would be so kind to launch Dizzy. Notice the big blue blob slowly fading away, so about halfway through you start to see the enemies again. Yes, I suppose I should explain this. So this is Gekko's special mechanic. Globules, I don't know exactly how you pronounce these. But you can do this with the Dizzy, the Wingman, and Thrash. They will stay there as of version 9.10, I believe it is. They will stay there for up to 15 seconds, and it takes 1.5 seconds to pick them up. I do believe picking them up pauses the countdown. Yeah, notice I'm picking it up and the countdown paused. Next up we have Wingman. Wingman is another autonomous creature, much like Dizzy, much like Fade's Prowler if you watch that episode. But this one can actually plant and defuse the spike. An extra strong addition to Gekko's kit in my opinion. Wingman can also apply Wingman can also concuss opponents, so notice if you hit left click, he will run towards an opponent, even able to bounce off of surfaces. And notice the concuss status affected by the pulsating ring around the opponent's head, I should say. He runs at 6.3 meters a second and searches for up to 5 seconds. So about 33 meters, I believe, total. And he also concusses at a 90-degree angle. So if multiple opponents are next to each other, he will get all of them. It's not just whoever he spots first. He also must be within 6 meters, so if I pop him here, he should basically instantly, yes. So as soon as he could detect, because the program still needed to load up. The concuss lasts for 2.5 seconds, one of the longest I've seen in the game so far too. Now, as I mentioned, Wingman can plant and defuse. So you left click to attack the opponent, and you right click to plant. And if thank you. And notice the spike is being diffused at pretty much the same speed anyone else can. This naturally makes Gekko very strong in my opinion, just because you don't have to devote somebody being vulnerable planting the spike. His C ability is called Mosh Pit. It is essentially a molly for him. The molly is 6.2 meters wide. The initial explosion does 50 damage a tick on the inner radius and 25 on the outer, 3 ticks total. And then after that, it does 1 damage per tick. It's a lot of math. Just know you want them close to the middle, because notice that can kill, because 3 ticks at 50 damage does what you need to do to kill someone, right? Whereas I go towards the edge, I can survive it because I was on the edge and the outer radius only does 25 a tick. Lastly, we have Thrash, Gekko's ultimate. It's an 8-point ultimate and takes Gekko away from his body. So notice I'm controlling Thrash and look at the vulnerable position I am in. Obviously, you would not just do that in the middle of the area, but just to demonstrate, you have 6 seconds to search and detains enemies for 6 seconds too. It will detain opponents. And notice my fellow Gekko is moving slowly. They couldn't shoot or use abilities, they were just completely defenseless. Oh, can you hit me with Thrash so I can show what detain looks like on this side? Oh, yeah. Monster on the loose. Notice my hands are in front of me. I'm hitting E, C, Q, all of them, none of them are working. And one thing I want to highlight, because most people do this mistake, they'll just charge them at the enemy. And because Thrash has health, which is 200 HP, the enemy can easily shoot them. See? So one thing I forgot to mention earlier, people just run at enemies like this, but you can actually jump as Thrash and make him a lot more unpredictable. Make her a lot more unpredictable, right? I forgot it. Gekko calls it a female. So notice, you can even go over the boxes. I did forget to mention too, Dizzy and Wingman also have HP. Dizzy has 20 HP and Wingman has 80. So pretty much a one tap from any of the rifles will take either of them out. And yes, that is a big weakness for Gekko. A lot of his util is easily shot. If they have good reaction time, they are able to shoot it before it blinds or concusses, or even if Wingman is trying to plant the spike, they can shoot him while he plants. His util, in my opinion, is a solid 9 out of 10. I think he just has a naturally very strong kit, especially when you consider Wingman being able to plant and defuse the spike. The rework recently really wasn't that bad enough. I think it sounded a lot worse on paper because, yeah, 1.5 seconds pickup time is 50% more, but it's still also not even 2 seconds. Like, unless you're in a situation where an enemy can literally peek you like that, it's really not that bad a situation. And yeah, maybe the stairs on B site aren't a great place to be throwing Dizzy with having to pick it up. His ult, in my opinion, honestly, I would only say is a 6 out of 10. I think 7 points was the correct spot. I don't like that they raised it. You're left very vulnerable, and the timings don't always make it feel impactful to me. So how would I play Gekko? Gekko is one where I'm not afraid to throw util around a little willy-nilly because you're able to pick it back up, right? This is the benefit. Gekko is a very forgiving agent, in my opinion, in that regard. So, for example, notice the person watching the entrance got blinded. So if your duelists were pushing up while you throw that, he's easily targeted by your team. Gekko is someone who works heavily, in my opinion, with teamwork. Once you have a reasonable controller site, say somebody's pushed you mid into market here and can say this area is pretty secure, and your team has at least up to the stairs, this is where I would use Wingman to plant spike, and then of course try and pick him up for the concuss later on. I do value Wingman's planting a lot more than his concuss, but I also cannot deny the strength of both. For Mosh, generally I would try and play Mosh post-plant. So notice the spike is in that radius, and it would damage them decently if they don't move fast enough. Or you could also play Mosh to try and prevent pushing from the enemies to try and retake. That wasn't a great lineup, but you get the idea, right? You can use him like every other molly to stall or to play the post plant and protect the spike. Lastly, I would use Thrash. I like to use Thrash more for recon. So for example, let's say we're playing a normal game. I want to come up here and see. Let's say I spot somebody, I try and detain them. I'm not going to get this kill, but it gives us an idea of where they are. Admittedly, yes, it would be better to return Thrash to you, so you can use it like a scout again. But Thrash, in my opinion, is just really good as a scout. For example, just see how much room you can clear with that admittedly risky position I put myself in. That's how I would like to play Gekko on the attack. For defense, I go for a staller approach to let my team come back and help me. So for example, something like this, or even just throwing wingman, you're likely to lose them if you're not smart about this. So for example, I could do something like this, but you're also still very vulnerable in this position, and there's not a lot of great spots to use that for. Again, Mosh, similar to delaying entry from the opposing team onto site. It's just to try and stall them while my team rushes over to try and help. It's really just how I use a lot of his util when I am defending the site they're going after. Now in a retake situation, I would play him very similar to how I played on attack, just different angles. So for example, something like here. Notice while my friend was grabbing Thrash, I could have easily gotten a kill on them. While you do that, you could even throw Wingman up here to make sure your flank is secured. Let's say it's here and you know they're playing in B main. You could throw Mosh in to limit them trying to peek while your Wingman's defusing even. And similar deal Thrash. So what you could do, throw Mosh over this corner, throw Thrash over this corner, and then your Wingman has an easier time defusing the spike. So I want to test some interaction with Sage's wall. Can you put it between me and the site planting? Yeah, so Sage's wall does block Wingman from being able to plant. But also, and if Wingman's running at Sage, notice the wall will reflect Wingman and he starts searching for a new opponent. Can you go... Yeah, stay right there. Oh. So yes, Thrash does go through Sage's wall. Lastly, can I get a slow orb just between us? Notice Sage's slow orb does affect at least Wingman. Can I get one more? Yeah, so Sage's slow orbs and presumably others will affect your little buddies too. For his agent pass, honorable shoutouts go to Valorant Gekko player card. I just love the depiction of him and his little buddies. As well as tier 4, again, I love the little buddy stuff. But this has been a Valorant guide to Gekko. Thank you for joining us today. Please like, comment what you learned from the video, anything interesting that stood out, or any tips you have. Don't forget to join us next week when we cover Harbor. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And with that done, have a good one, stay safe, bye! And this is where I start having to be, like, puppeteer, right? Can you stand somewhere like here? Yeah. Alright. And now this is where I ask you to hold out your different abilities. So C. Okay. Q. Okay. E. And what happens if you do Thrash? It probably won't be one I take. Oh! I do like Dizzy better, though. Dizzy complements the E. That Dizzy complements the color palette better, in my opinion, while still being interesting but not distracting, right?
Yeah.
All right. Can you look up a little bit? It looks like you're looking at the floor. Yeah. All right. And this is where I'm going to monologue. Once we get to abilities, you can move around without any hindrance to my video, okay?
Okay.
I do apologize, I know it's a little shitty to make you wait that long, but yeah. Anesthetic.
I got you.
I don't know why I picked that up. Away. So if we go over here even.
Back to me.
Or is this called boba? Oh yeah, it's market. Little premature there, buddy. Don't be afraid to speak back, by the way. Like, I do have a blooper section for a reason.
My bad.
Oh, good. I appreciate it. In the open, potentially, or even in here where you could potentially be wall-banged, right? Oh, I don't think you actually can wall-bang that one. My bad. Oh, yeah, you have to corner it. Sorry. Oh.
Oh, you were wanting me to throw...
No. I was reading my notes because we need to move on to Thrash. If the enemy has the reaction time, if I explain to my friend, that's what I want to show. I do apologize, Wizard. That was all on me. But if they have good enough reaction time, they can shoot it. I'm surprised. It looked like you hit it on my screen. Oh, where's Thrash? I don't know where the Thrash went. Now, put it in front of you. I want to see Wingman... the wall. Don't wait until... Oh.
Put it in the wrong spot.
No. I realized I needed to instruct you. Wait till you see Wingman running at you. Okay?
Oh, okay. I was still electrified, so...
Yeah.
You
but
might want to do the thrash again.
no, I got the sound effect twice for you being detained. Did you... Thank you.
You're welcome.